Welcome to the podcast series on assessment of medium and long-term growth for resilient, inclusive, and sustainable development. This podcast series is brought to you by the Cambodia Development Resource Institute (CDOI) in partnership with the Cambodia Australian Partnership for Resilient Economic Development (CAPRED) and funded by the Australian Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade (DFAT) through the Australian Embassy in Cambodia. In the second episode, we will be exploring the important topic of laying the foundations of long-term growth for human capital development. The discussion will be hosted by Ms TANN Boravin with special guest Dr CHEA Phal. This episode will focus on Cambodia's progress in laying the groundwork for long-term prosperity, focusing on human capital development.
I am Paul. I'm currently the Senior Research Fellow at CDI. I've been working with the education team for almost 5 years now, since 2020. Nice to talk to you today.
So Dr. my question to you is, how has Cambodia invested in human capital so far and what progress has been made?
I think in the field of education in the past 10 years or so, I think first the government have focused on kind of expanding the access to education, and later on also to ensure that the education have a high quality and also related to the job market. So, and then in addition to the expanding access to education, the government also work very hard in providing a quality education. First, by making teaching career more attractive. I think the government have increased the salary, the teacher salary significantly. I think currently, if we compare to 10 years ago, the salary increased more than double. And the government also actually introduced new curriculum that to move from teacher center to student center, introducing more modern teaching pedagogy. And around the same time, the Ministry of Education also introduced the National Learning Assessment to measure the learning outcome of the student. And in addition to the National Learning Assessment, the government also participate in the regional and international learning assessment such as the CPLAM and the PISA as well. And one more thing is to make education more related to the job market. The ministry also introducing the tracking in the high school from 2010. Yes, I think these are the intervention that the government have made in the past 10 years or so.
Can you also tell us a little bit about the challenges in the education system of Cambodia?
With this intervention, I think if we look into the statistic provided by the ministry, we can see that the enrollment, especially in the secondary school, have increased in the past 10 years. Example, for the lower secondary school, it increased from 50% in 2013 to 64% in 2022, so around 10%. And also, I think also the enrollment in upper secondary school also increased from 25% to 44%. I think that is also a very significant increase. But however, actually, if we look into the primary enrollment rate, actually is a little bit stagnant. It is actually even declined from 98 to 95 for the net enrollment in primary school. Because it is a bit rather difficult to address to capture the remaining 5%, because most of them are in the remote area. Yeah, and I think we did quite a good job in expanding the access to the secondary school. And if we look into also the gender equity, I think it is also a good progress. Actually, even the girls are now doing even better than boy in terms of both enrollment and also learning performance. I think that is the result of the expanding of access to education, and also I think now the teaching career has become much more attractive as well. Example, I think last year when the government recruit for the primary school teacher, I think the quota is only around 1,300, but there are more than 380,000 applicants for the teaching position. So I think around almost 30 applicant per around 30 applicant per vacancy. Yeah. Yeah, I think that is I think to me is kind of a good outcome.
Can you also tell us a little bit more about the challenges in the education system of Cambodia?
Okay. Yeah. As I said earlier, I think we not only want to expand the access of education, but we also want to improve the learning quality. And then, as I said earlier, the government have started to conduct the learning assessment, but from that learning assessment, there are little evidence that suggests the learning have improved in the past 10 years or so. Actually, it's even getting worse, especially after the COVID-19, because like the result after the COVID-19, I think that the government conducted in the, I think for the grade 6, I think one year after the COVID-19, the learning performance of the student was even lower than before. But however, I think we also participated in the PISA learning assessment, that is the international learning assessment. Based on that, the learning performance improved a little bit, but not much. However, among the participated country, Cambodia was the kind of the lowest performer among the participating country. Yeah. So, in another word, we have a kind of more qualified teacher now, but it seems those we have more qualified teacher in terms of qualification, but the learning have not yet improved much. So I think we need to understand why it is so. I also talk about the tracking system in high school that the government introduced. In the early time, more than 90% of students enroll in science track. But now, it seems students have less interest in the science track, or maybe with another reason. Only 30%, around 30% of students are in the science track. Maybe one other reason is that students find it is easier to pass the exam if they enroll in the social track. That's why maybe more and more students are enrolling in the social track. Yeah. And one more thing, I think another challenge is that even though the enrollment rate in secondary school have improved, but we still observe high dropout rate in the secondary school as well.
You mentioned earlier regarding the job market, so I want to know a little bit more on how Cambodian human capital is ready for the competitive labor market here in the country as well as in the region, especially when we consider the status of Cambodian preparing for LUC graduation as well. If you can share on this.
Yes, I think many studies have mentioned or suggest about the lack of the skill workforce and also the issue of the skill mismatch. I think this is not new. It's something had been pointed out a long time ago, but it seems we still struggle to address this issue. In policy, I think if we look into I think the policy that one of the policy under the Ministry of Industry, Technology, and Science and Innovation. I think we aim to increase the the STEM enrollment in higher education to 50%, but so far I think we still struggle to attract the student to the STEM major. It seems that now I think the enrollment in STEM major, if I remember correctly, maybe around maybe 30% or 40%. I cannot remember well. But the issue also, most of the students who are enrolled in STEM are male, not many female, because like the government also promote the STEM enrollment among female. That is one. And then when we talk about the skill labor, we also need to also consider about I think because in Cambodia, we have not only Ministry of Education, but we have another ministry, that is Ministry of Labor and Vocational Training, that supervise the Tibet school. And we also need to to strengthen the delivery of the Tibet training, that make it more high quality. And also we need to diversify the labor supply, that to answer to the need of the demand side.
I'm a little curious on another issue related with human capital development, because in education, when we talk about education reform, the role of school leadership and accountability is important. So can you tell us a little bit more on how this can play to improve the human capital development and workforce in Cambodia?
Yes, it's a very important point. Yes, to address the issue, of course, we cannot do it without strengthening the leadership of the school, not only school, but also I think the leadership of the educational management of all levels, from school to the ministry level. I think one of the kind of important intervention that the government tried to strengthen is through we call school-based management. So I think with the support from the development partner, I think the government have been roll out a lot of programs related to the school-based management. I think one of the big project is, I think, what they call secondary school improvement. SIP project, maybe SIP, maybe a secondary school improvement project, maybe. And then now I think they roll out to we call CHEA General Education Improvement Project. This is to improve the school management and also school accountability. And now, before we have what we call a school supporting committee, but now I think the government tried to change it into school management committee, that this committee can have the role to counter check the performance of the school management. I think that is what the government is trying to do, I think.
Now, moving to my last question, what specific policy could Cambodia implement to accelerate human capital development?
To me, I think fixing the issue of the learning at the foundation level is very important. As the learning assessment suggested, even after student finish the primary school at grade 6, so many students could not acquire the basic knowledge and skill Uh, so I think without this foundation, it is very difficult for them to move to the secondary school and higher level. So the issue is how can we fix it? Uh, Normally we assume that better teacher will lead to better learning. But as I said earlier, even now we have much better teacher in terms of this qualification. It seems that it's not always lead to better learning outcome. So I think we need more evidence. We need more evidence-based intervention. I think that maybe what CDI can explore more why but even we have a better teacher but the learning outcome have not improved, or maybe what kind of intervention that we can support the slow learner, the student who are in need of support, what kind of effective support that the school or the government need to provide to address this kind of issue. I think there are a lot of problems that we don't know that require more study. So I think first we need to fix this this foundation education before we can move forward. And then I think now, as I said earlier, our tracking system seems to be not very effective in grooming the STEM talent. I think currently the Ministry of Education also considering how to reform it, how whether to divide it or eliminate it. I'm not sure, but now I heard the ministry is working on that. So that's something else we also need to work, and I think this is important as well. Another point is that you mentioned about the issue of shortage of skill labor. We need more of skilled labor. That means we need also more good skill provider. Of course, now we also have some a good skill provider, but we need more that can provide skill that are in need by the labor market. And we can also learn from countries that have been doing well in terms of skill provider. I think Australia also one of the country who has been very successful in providing skilled labor in the country. I think that maybe we can also look into this kind of country and then learn from them how they address the skill gap and provide skill that are in need by the market.
We are coming to the end of our podcast. Dr. Phal, please share your final remarks on this important topic if you have any.
As you mentioned earlier, investing in human capital is very important for not only for the economic growth but also to make the society more equal. However, as you may know, not only in Cambodia, in many other countries, addressing education issue is very complex and very challenging. But however, we have been also our government have put a lot of effort in addressing this issue, even though there still have many challenges. I'm sure that we will work together to address this issue together.
I agree that the education or the investment in the human capital development is not an easy task at all. It indeed requires long-term, comprehensive, and concerted efforts of all relevant stakeholders, including the government, development partners, private sectors, as well as all levels of educators to make this effort more feasible and achievable within the ambitions of Cambodia to becoming high-income country by 2050. So thank you so much for your time today, and I wish you success in your endeavor. Thank you.